What's up, internet? My name's Ori. It is Sunday, August 24th, day number 48 inside the Big Brother house. Veto was played yesterday. Who won? How will it affect the noms? And why is this the worst possible thing to happen for Vince? Let's talk about that, plus all the intel drama and more from yesterday's live feeds. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Speaking of, there is an episode tonight. It's kind of like a 90-minute episode. There's going to be BB Unlocked, as well as the HOH and the nominations. Listen, we're going to do a big one here. We've been doing these little challenges for the watch parties. I've missed out on some of them, but if everything goes and works properly, if we get this video to 2,000 likes, it's a big one, I know, but we've been so close for a few videos now. If we get this to 2,000 likes, we will do a watch party tonight. We'll watch the whole blockbuster, not the block, the BB Unlocked, as well as the HOH, the nomination episode. So let's see what you guys can do. A little bit of a recap for you. If you guys haven't been keeping up with everything going on, Vince pulled off the win in the wall competition, and he is now the new HOH. He nominated Mickey, Kelly, and Ava for the block as he tries to straddle the middle of this split house. Now, yesterday we start off with just a lot of different people talking about, plans for the veto, who they're going to pick, if you won the veto, what would you do with it, stuff like that. One of the interesting conversations ended up being with Mickey and Ava, as he told her that, you know what, she'd rather be on the block for something she did than something she didn't. She did do a lot of the things she's on the block for. And she actually thinks, she tells Ava this, that, you know what, I think if I come off the block, it's the best situation for us. Who, by the way, Ava is on the block with Mickey. So it's like, listen, you should stay on the block because if I come off, it's way better for us. We also get Keanu and Rachel, who got into it a little bit. And I think there might have been something. Must have missed this comment because I also heard Rachel mention something later on to Ashley about Keanu saying something about Brendan that kind of rubbed her the wrong way. I think Keanu was trying to make a joke, but Rachel, you know her. Nobody comes between her and her man. She's very defensive of Brendan. So I don't know exactly what Keanu said, but she said, like, I don't even know what the joke was supposed to be to Ashley. She wouldn't tell Ashley what he said. But it seemed like that rubbed Rachel kind of wrong. But also, I think she realizes that, hey, there's some double talk coming from Keanu as he's trying to work with Rachel. But as we know, Keanu has been pushing for Rachel to go up on the block, not even as the renom. He wanted her up there as the initial nominee. So they kind of go into it, going back and forth about, what they were going to do. And Rachel was just kind of saying, like, I'm going to be coming off the block no matter what. And, if I don't, if I do end up on the block, I'm going to win the blockbuster and I'll wreak havoc on this effing house. And Keanu's like, I feel like you're kind of threatening me there. And she's like, no, I'm not trying to threaten you. I'm just trying to say what I'm going to do. And he tries to say, like, you got to trust me. And she's like, I do trust you, but they don't really trust each other. So just a fun dynamic again with Keanu and Rachel. Always just kind of comedic watching the two of them go back and forth. Because it's like, man, if they just work together, if they just actually work together, it'd be great. But they're oil and water. They just can't coexist. And it's fantastic. We ended up getting the veto draw on who was going to end up playing, and it was Keanu and Will, who were both picked to play in the veto alongside HOH Vince and the nominees Ava, Kelly, and Mickey. It was a late veto. We didn't get the draw until late in the day, and I was like, man, this is interesting. And then the actual veto competition didn't happen until much later in the day, it's been a minute since we've had kind of an evening veto competition in the house. So kind of interesting to see that as well. When the feeds came back, we found out who won, and it was Mickey. Mickey wins the power of veto, and the comp sounds really interesting. It was kind of like a face-off kind of situation where you had a bluff about what the drinks were in front of you, and your opponent had to guess which of the drink was poisoned. I don't know exactly how all of the noms were figured out on which person went which, but you did get to choose who your opponent was each round. which comes up a little bit later here. There were also strikes involved, so I don't think if you just got it wrong right away, you were eliminated. I think it was like a three strikes you're out kind of situation. It sounds like it was a really fun comp. They were all dressed up fancy. Vince and Will, Keanu had these like tuxedos on. The girls had these like fancy evening gowns on. We even had Morgan. She almost looked like she was going to a wedding. It was in like a white dress. It was something else. But really an interesting comp. Now, yesterday I was talking about how well I think Vince has set himself up back in the middle of this house. He's had all these lies that he spun to get himself out of trouble after the Riley vote with half the house. He's kind of trying to play with the judges as well, and he's trying to split this so perfectly in the middle. The one thing, though, that would have messed up all of this was Mickey winning the veto. And that's what she does. Vinny came in second. He was really close. And Vince and Keanu were also really annoyed at how Kelly played the game. Apparently, she went and picked Vince to play against instead of Mickey, which ended up kind of forcing it to be Mickey and Vince in the final two. Where she could have taken a shot at Mickey, and then it would have been Vince and Kelly in the final two, or something like that. Again, it just they were really Vince was just very annoyed. He was really going off. He was annoyed with Keanu. He then had a conversation with Lauren, which let me tell you, this was a fun conversation to watch play out. So with Vince going off about just how upset he was about not only his performance, but how others were playing in the veto competition. He talks about how this is terrible, how much pressure he's under. He's got half the house asking for Rachel and Ashley to be in the renoms. He's got the other half pushing for Catherine to be the renom. And he just is really struggling with this. He's like, my Big Brother game is over. Like, why is this so hard for me? How am I making so many mistakes? And he was just going on and on all about how Keanu and Kelly all screwed up the competition, how everyone is on Rachel's side. And, if he puts her up, they're going to be coming after him. Even if he puts up Ashley, Rachel's going to be coming after him. He pretty much lays out to Lauren the entire judges alliance. He says, like, yeah, they brought me into a room with this whole group and they were really pressuring me. So he doesn't necessarily say like, oh, it's an alliance, it's named the judges, but he basically lays out everybody that was pushing for Rachel not to go up on the block and why he can't do that right now and how it's making it so hard for his decision. And he promised so much to Rachel about not going up on the block and trying to build trust with that. But he's also been saying for weeks that Ashley should go on the block. He's been saying this since him and Zach were there. It was their number one target for weeks. So like, what is he going to do here? And I'm just kind of I don't know what Vince is going to end up doing because he's got different ways that he could go, but I think he's really leaning towards the Rachel Ashley potential, but he is not happy about it. The conversation with Lauren and Vince got even better too, as he still kept going on all of his different scenarios. And he was just saying, like, this has all gone downhill since Ava started the trend of putting me up on the block. And then he brings up, like, why is Rachel untouchable, right? Like, and he's like, this point, like, let's stop the season. Production, hand Rachel the $750,000 check. Let's shorten the season up. It's done. It's over. Let's just make her the winner. And then this is where it really gets good because he tells Lauren, like, there's people that were pitching that you should go before jury because you're just so indecisive. And she's like, who said that stupid effing bullshit? Lauren, by the way, turning 23. And as we know in the Big Brother house, a lot of times when you have a birthday and you get older in the game, sometimes it changes who you are. Maybe we're going to see the leaving of indecisive 22-year-old Lauren. Maybe we're about to see the vengeful, spiteful 23-year-old Lauren. And I'm kind of excited if that's the case. And she's just saying, who told you that? He said it was Rachel. And she's like, what do you mean indecisive? Like, I'm not indecisive. And then I swear, you couldn't write this comedy. Ooh, I don't know what to do. I'm so indecisive. It was just pure comedy watching Lauren go over this. Because as we know, she was very indecisive in not only her HOH decision, but with her veto decision when she had that power. So listen, Lauren, if you're this upset about Rachel saying it, I hope she doesn't see my videos. I really listen when she nobody show Lauren any of my videos because she is going to be very angry with me. Kelly ended up joining this conversation. Eventually, kind of Lauren dipped out and Vince and Kelly were kind of talking about just everything going on. She says like she's really worried about staying on the block now, and it really kind of messed her up. And the thing is, this is where we also learn like I don't actually think she did volunteer for the block. I think Vince was just saying that she volunteered for the block because she kind of talks about this now. And she says, like, Vince chose the other side, right? Like, he chose to vote out Adrian. He chose to vote out Riley. He chose to put her up on the block. And this is just what the situation is. Kelly even said, like, you know what? I probably would have used the veto on Ava if she had won and just done something wild in this situation, which would have been absolutely wild. Definitely a play out of the Tucker playbook. And Vince says he's the worst ally. Kelly's like, yeah, you are. Like no doubt about it. You are the worst. And then even just put more daggers in, right? Going over how, one more vote and Riley would have stayed. Two more votes, Adrian would have stayed. And that was all because of Vince and Zach with the Adrian vote. But definitely not good. Kelly says, once again, like you need to make a move and it's got to be Rachel. And Vince says, just like, I can't put Keanu up. Like he's been just such a good friend to me in this game. And Kelly's like, I haven't been a friend. Like, well, hold on a minute. you can put me up, but you can't put Keanu up because he's been too close of a friend. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. He also had a conversation Vince did with Ava, and he goes over how like his only options right now are Ashley, Keanu, and Rachel. Like he's got nothing else that he can do. But he doesn't even want to put up Keanu, so that kind of just leaves Ashley and Rachel. We also had a moment too, because I think one of his other options is Catherine, right? Like I think he very easily could put Catherine up on the block as someone who, probably is already upset with him. And there's no real reason why, he should have to fear her because she hasn't really won that much of the game. She's only won one veto competition. So it's something that I think he could put up. But one of the things we did see is Catherine is saying, like, yeah, she's not having an easy time right now that Riley's out of the house. She's struggling with this. And listen, I don't even want to get into my thoughts because, again, I think it's one of those situations where I just have a little bit of a differing opinion on how things should be handled. And I think this is one of those situations where, yeah, was the behavior that Riley was doing towards Catherine fun, good at all? No, it was pretty terrible. But you have to also look at it from Catherine's perspective. And while, yeah, there's some manipulation going on with the whole idea of just being in that kind of a relationship, when you're in this game, it's even worse. And in Catherine's point of view, she just lost her closest ally in the game, kind of her only real connection the closest connection she had. And she's having a really hard time with this. This is one of those things where it's like, I just feel like if you don't actually know how the person's going to react to putting your nose into the situation, that's why you probably shouldn't. Because at the end of the day, these are people who are strangers to us in the game. And again, I don't want to talk about it too much more, but just know that Catherine's having a really difficult time now that Riley is out of the house. Ashley had a little bit of a cam talk session as well. This was kind of fun. I always love a good cam talk because it's where you really kind of get into the head a little bit more of the player. And she talks about how, like, if Rachel ends up going on the block, she's going to do everything she can to save Rachel this week. And she will go into full on save Rachel mode. And she talks about like how if Vince puts her up, like she has to do this. One of the other kind of interesting things too was she talks about how she's playing dumb a little bit. And it's one of those things where I wasn't sure if she was actually playing this up as much as she is, but she actually might be. All the lot of messy conversations she'll have, all the things she does where she drops little lines here and there. Could we have been wrong? And maybe Ashley is just doing all of this for game? Because it's one of those things where there's many times I look at Ashley and I say, man, she would be a really great player if she just learned to shut her mouth a couple of times. Because she'll get herself in trouble. Well, she'll say maybe a little bit too much, or she'll say things that, are going to end up rubbing that person the wrong way, or just in general, there's these little comments she'll make in these moments where she makes mistakes. And I kind of wonder, I was like, man, like she would be such a good player if she could fix this up. But it seems like this all might be intentional. And in fact, one of the things she said she was doing is she's trying to embody Elle Woods. If you guys don't know who Elle Woods is, Legally Blonde, here's the thing. I haven't seen Ashley do very much bends and snaps, but maybe she is trying to play a bigger game here than we even realize. And that's kind of just a fun little insight into what Ashley's been doing in the game. We then also got Morgan, Rachel, and Ashley staying up very late in the HOH room trying to talk to Vince, who I believe was in the DR for a long time. In fact, listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. I'm recording this. Vince is still in the diary room, and Morgan and Ashley are still waiting for them. They've just been having conversations about potentially what that Vince should do with that veto. Obviously, trying to hopefully make sure that the judges are good and that he doesn't actually put up Ashley or Rachel. But it seems like that's where he's leaning towards the most. And they kind of talk about how like they would want him to put Keanu up, but Morgan says like she doesn't think he's going to do that because as far as Vince is concerned, Keanu won't put Vince up on the block. And they really want to make that sure that Kelly is gone this week. And then they also keep bringing up the idea that Lauren is also somebody who has to go. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I waited as long as I possibly could to film this update to make sure I had all of that information for you. But again, Vince is still in the diary room, as far as I know. Morgan and Ashley are still waiting for him upstairs. So I'm going to keep an eye on that and let you guys know, fill you guys in maybe during the watch party if we get to 2,000 likes, right? Or just on tomorrow's update, I'll have you fully and updated on everything that goes on because Morgan and Vince, I expect them to be up pretty much all night. I don't know if they're going to sleep today. That was at least their initial plan. Let's take a look here at the allegiance chart just to try and break down a little bit more of what Vince's actual options are here and what he should do with this renom. So again, Mickey now winning the veto, huge for her as well. This is now the second week where she would have been evicted if she didn't win the blockbuster competition last eviction, and if she didn't win this veto, Mickey would be out of the house right now. Her game would be over with and done for. But she now saves herself 2 weeks in a row, and honestly, you know what? Whether you like Mickey or not, you got to give credit where credit's due. Good job on Mickey for being able to come through like that. As far as what Vince should do, right, we can kind of see how the numbers are here, right? You can see there's the four on the one side, Lauren, Keanu, Catherine, and Kelly. We're all going to be pushing for the Rachel and Ashley nominees. Over on the other side, you got the five that are going to be pushing for the Rachel. And really, even excuse me, you're pushing for Keanu or even Catherine to go up on the block. And really, you could almost say six, right? Because you have Will, Ava, Morgan, Rachel, Ashley, and even Mickey is probably going to be pushing a little bit for Keanu or Catherine, though Mickey also might even push for Rachel now at this point. So that's another interesting little thing to kind of watch out for. So Vince is, again, trying to straddle that line. And if he's trying to keep the numbers even, the way it is right now, his best option probably would be Ashley or Rachel. The thing is, if you're taking that shot at Rachel, you got to be really ready that that shot's going to land. And I'm not 100% sure that it would land, as if she's up there against Ava, yeah, it's probably a death sentence and Ava would stay, Rachel would go. She's up there against Kelly. I'm not 100% sure she would have the votes. He would really need to make sure that was locked in because you would have Will, Morgan, and Ashley, who would be 3 votes to really lock in to save Rachel. Mickey's a bit of a wild card. If he can get Mickey on board to vote out Rachel, that would be huge. Also, if you would have on the other side Lauren, Keanu, and Catherine, and then Kelly, who would be that be a vote that would probably go against Rachel as well. So it's going to be one of those things where it's really interesting to see if he's going to try and pull that move or not. Because if he doesn't make it and hit that shot, it could be devastating to his game. But it is a huge move that could take place this week. If he decides to go the safer route, he could also take out Ashley, which once again kind of weakens that other side, but you leave Rachel in the game, who again, I've talked about this before. You never want to let a vet cook. And somebody mentioned it. I don't even know who it was. I forgot to put it in my notes, but I had heard the conversation on the feeds. And somebody has said this, and I was like, man, that's dead on. If you leave Rachel in the game, even if she ends up being on the bottom of something, she will find the cracks. If you take out all of her allies, she will find a way to kind of survive and find someone that she can use to her advantage. And you do not want to let the vets cook. You do not want to let the vets go further than they really should in the game because they will find a way to the end. And if you let them get to the end, there's a good shot they could win it. So that is a shot that he could take. Now, on the other side, if he doesn't want to worry about the numbers too much and he just wants to try and stay a little bit more on the side of the judges, Keanu and Catherine would be his options, right? Keanu would be the shot very similar to Rachel, where it's like, hey, you need to hit that shot or you're in big trouble. As well as Keanu, I think, is somebody who's a better shield for him than Rachel would be, because he also has the idea that Keanu probably would use the veto on him if he wasn't on the block with him, right? So there's lots of things there where I think Keanu would be the better shield and ally for him than Rachel. I don't think he's going to take that shot at all. Catherine, though, would be the equivalent to putting Ashley up the block, where you're just putting somebody up there to kind of have a seat filler. If she goes, oh well, right? Like, it's not the best thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world. So those are kind of his four options. He could go on one side, go with Rachel and Ashley, which is the side I think he's really leaning towards, or it would be Keanu and Catherine. Otherwise, no one's saying Will. He's not saying Morgan or Lauren. Those are his two tight ones that he's keeping on either side of the house, though he also has them fighting with each other. Once again, another great thing that Vince is kind of doing. He's setting it up where he's trying to make Rachel and Keanu fight. He's not even really trying. It's just happening with Morgan and Lauren. And he's trying to just set up each side of the house to kind of go at each other and avoid putting him up the block. And I think it's actually brilliant moves. Actually, as I'm talking right now, it looks like maybe Ashley's finally going to be heading to bed. Morgan's going to be waiting up for Vince. So again, I'm going to keep you guys up to date if anything interesting comes from their conversations. But that's pretty much all I have for you today. What do you think of Mickey winning the power of veto? Who do you think that Vince should put up as the renom? And let me know all of those answers to those comments down below. Anything that you have going on. Thank you guys all again so much for watching. I cannot thank you guys for all the love, support you show me on this channel. But if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, smash that like button. Hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Check out the links to my socials, description down below. Check out the pinned comment, things like Twitter and Discord. Discord's a lot of fun right now. We just remodeled everything, so it's much easier to find the different places that you want to have conversations in, whether it's Big Brother, Survivor, other reality shows. If you want to post pictures of your pets, go on and do that in the Discord. It's a great place to kind of meet other Big Brother fans and have really fun, great conversations about the shows we love. So go check that out. Check out the Ori Fund. Help support Oris everywhere. Easiest way, though, to support the channel, just smash that like button. And again, if we get this video to 2,000 likes, I know it's a big one, but we've been so close for a couple of videos now. If we get to 2,000 likes, we will have a watch party for BB Unlocked, as well as the HOH and the nomination ceremony. So those episodes will be tonight. If we can get there, we'll do it. I know it's a big one, but let's see if we can accomplish this. Thank you guys all again so much. And I will see you next time.
We just hand her the check now? Let's just cancel the season. Let's just stop the season now. Production, let's just stop the season. Let's hand Rachel the $750K and America's favorite. Because that's what's going to fucking happen, right? Show's over. Early season.